Spring's almost here, and that's going to mean a lot of eggs. So let's talk about one way to use up a lot of eggs in a way that your family will love. You're going to start by separating 6 eggs, and you want to make sure that you separate your eggs into a different container so that you can examine the egg, make sure there's no blood spot or a little bit of matter or anything like that. Put your yolks in one bowl and make sure that your whites that you've set aside contain no bit of yolk or other matter, any blood spot. You don't want that in your whites because it will prevent them from whipping as high as you want for a meringue or an angel food cake. But I've got my eggs separated, and I'll show you the next steps. Now I have my beautiful choux paste. And what am I going to do? Today I'm making eclairs. I could also drop this by rounds onto this baking sheet and make profiteroles or eclairs. Before I had put it in the piping bag, I could have mixed in sharp cheddar cheese and some garlic and bacon bits and made a gougere that would be really, really tasty. I could mix in whole kernel corn and bake that for a fritter or fry it for a different kind of corn fritter, and that's really delicious too. But today, I think we're going to do eclairs because that's kind of a family favorite, and it uses up a lot of eggs. And we happen to have a lot of eggs just now. All right, let's talk about the next step. We're going to mix 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a cup of flour. Mix that in our pan. And we're going to add 1.5 cups of whole milk. Whisk that together until smooth. We're going to heat that over medium heat until it starts to boil. I'm going to throw in a good, healthy 2 pinches of salt on this. And I'm just going to cook this until I've got it on medium heat. I'm going to just cook it until it starts to really get thick and simmer. And then we're going to temper our egg yolks. This step takes about 10 minutes. Starting to thicken. Not there yet. All right, I've got it boiling. That part's good. We're going to cook this now for 1 minute. And then we're going to temper the eggs. I have 6 egg yolks in this little bowl. I'm going to whip those up just a little bit, just give them a good stir. Now, if I were to put the egg yolks right into that hot batter, they would likely curdle. So what I'm going to do is warm the egg yolks up. This is called tempering them. Mix them well. And then I'm going to add them back to my milk and sugar and flour mixture in a thin stream, whisking the whole time. This is the same principle as how you might make a custard or a pudding. In this case, it's going to be very thick because it's going to get lightened with whipped cream. So now, making sure that I don't boil it because I don't want this to separate and turn into a lumpy mess, I'm going to continue cooking this until it's quite thick, and then I'll show you the test that will let you know whether or not your pastry cream is ready to be refrigerated. Right, I think it's ready. Let's do our test. My mama always told me that you could tell how good a cook somebody was by how bad a mess they made in their kitchen. By that measure, I'm an excellent cook. I just stirred in some vanilla. Let's have a look at this, and I'll show you what you're looking for if you're not familiar with making this kind of a custard. So you can see it's very thick. What you want to do is dip a metal spoon in. Just hold it up there, and if it just clings to the spoon, you don't have any metal showing through, it's time and you're ready. Now what I'm going to do is put this in a bowl, cover it with plastic wrap, and I'm going to put the plastic on the surface of the custard. That's very important, otherwise it's going to get a skin on top, and nobody wants that. I'll do that, and then I'm going to chill this for at least a couple of hours till it's nice and cold. Then I'm going to fold in some whipped cream. That'll be the next step, and I'll show you that one. Now I have plenty of time for this to cool, so I'm just going to put it in a small bowl. If I was in a hurry, I would put it in a wide, shallow dish so that there would be lots of surface area for it to get cold faster. And I will tell you, this is actually delicious exactly like it is, but if you want that light creamy filling in your eclair or your profiterole, then you want to make sure you lighten this up with whipped cream. So we'll cover that with plastic and get it cool. As you can see, the film on the plastic is right on the top surface of my custard.
Cup and a half of heavy whipping cream here. One of my favorite things about this mixer is this lid. It keeps the whipped cream in the bowl. And we're going to whip it until it's heavy, stiff whipped cream. All right, now I'm going to take this 1.5 cups of whipped cream. I'm going to fold it into my custard. That is going to give me that light, rich, delicious French pastry cream that is going to fill these eclairs. This is a technique that you need to know if you're going to be doing any kind of pastry, which is folding. And the idea is to incorporate the custard and the heavy cream without flattening the heavy cream or breaking up all the air bubbles. So you're going to cut through it with your rubber spatula. Pick it up from the side, cut through it. Pick it up from the side, cut through it. And you're going to do that until they're evenly mixed. It's very simple. It just takes a light hand. And I'm going to give you my last pastry tip that might help you. And this one might surprise you. See how even that is, and really, really fluffy and smells good. One last thing. For this, I'm using a very inexpensive plastic pastry bag. You could use just a plain plastic bag with the corner cut out, but this works fine. One thing that helps quite a bit, if you have warm hands, you might want to run them under some cool water so that you don't warm the pastry filling up too much. I, on the other hand, am someone who normally has cold hands. So you're just going to fill that up. It's not difficult. It's a little messy. Set that aside for a second. Here's one trick that might help you. Now, when you bake your choux paste into your shells, I use the handle of the spoon and press down all that filling. Some recipes will call for you to pull it out of there, but I find that it works better to just press it in so that you get a completely open, empty chamber. And then what you're going to do is take your lovely bag here and make a big mess by squeezing the shell full of pastry cream. And then I'll be making the glaze next. Let's fill these babies up. You may have to tap the filling down. And then you get that. problem. So here I'm melting 2 tablespoons of butter with 2 ounces of chocolate. I'm going to stir in. It's a little stiff. Here I have 2 ounces of chocolate, 2 tablespoons of butter, and a little splash of heavy cream melted. I'm going to add a cup of powdered sugar, also known as confectioner sugar. Mix those together until smooth. I'm going to add a little more heavy cream until I have a nice smooth frosting glaze. See how smooth and shiny that is. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to put that in a bag. This glaze is a little warm, so I'm going to use a paper towel to protect my hands. Glaze those quickly. Get these lovely things into the refrigerator. I didn't say it was going to be pretty. Yeah, Eclairs. They're going to be great.